Good evening, welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clint, Geoffrey, and I'm Ross, back here after what seems like an eternity. It's been a long time, buddy.
Yeah,
How you doing?
it's been forever. I'm all right, man.
The
You
last
don't look very smart. Like you looked really smart a minute ago,
oh,
and now
because
I
because what
can't
we
help.
found out
Yeah,
this week
yeah.
that I need
Oh,
glasses.
Clark Kent, look at that.
These aren't official glasses yet. My dad's here, and I'm looking at my phone, and I start doing this where I got to get it a ways. And I thought, oh man, he handed me this pair, and it has changed my life. And I can't find myself wearing them all the time, so I do have an optometrist appointment coming. But
I'm the same way, bud.
I don't need them for far away. Just wow, the little print up close is getting to me. When I can't read the back of my Pepsi can, I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. So, anyways, we have a lot to talk about. Um, Treyton Lapcevich is going to join us in a little bit. Mainly going to talk about the Ush Weekend event. Open chat though, whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
there's a lot of things to chat about. I know APC this weekend is at Sauble Speedway, but I still think we deserve to chat a little bit about Rick Spencer Walt and what a great job he did in an enormous amount of pain racing at
Yeah,
Sunset Speedway. J.R. Fitzpatrick and his dominant run at Sunset. Can anybody stop him? And of course, like you said, Clinton, the event at Ush Weekend, which I mean, in my opinion, and that's all I can share, was knocked out of the park. I mean, I felt bad for the last month. We couldn't really talk much shit to you because you were a little bit volatile. You're under a little bit of stress for the last month, so we had to go easy. But what a great job you and the team did, and Zigger Van Tile preparing the track, everything about it, I thought was top shelf. And people are welcome to their own opinions, but I just thought it was a fantastic event.
yeah, I thought things went really well for us. I mean, obviously we're going to try and break down the whole event if we can. I mean, I had a NASCAR call today. I was also on Cam's and Graydon stickers and scuffs came out today. So I've told the story a few times, and just I want to get some of the points out here and just kind of break down some of our thoughts on why things went the way they did, and was it planned, wasn't it planned? So I mean, I just sent Treyton a message, told him to join us anytime. Same link. So if Treyton, if you're out there, it's the same link you've got there in your Facebook Messenger. Um, but Adam, let's talk about it first. Two years in the making, right? It started a long time ago. We had a test. We knew these cars would be good, and you know, for me, right up until the feature, I was still a little bit worried about the on-track product. The heats were okay. Nothing really lit the world on fire. The cars were still a bit slow. We knew that. But when we lined them up and went for that green flag race for the feature, and then that was awesome. But then I think the first caution and restart when they went 4 and 5 wide that's when it lit on fire. And we knew we had a product there to begin with. And I just thought, a couple of stats I want to break down, and then you being the longtime guy, feel free to stop me or drill down any deeper. So some of the things that we're proud of post race, let's say. Um, 24 cars started, which was a full field. Been a long time since the Pinty's cars have had that. So all the dirt people didn't have much to say about that. We had a full field. 23 of 24 cars finished the race. Only one crashed out. So it was very easy on the equipment and the cars themselves. And that could have been an anomaly. Like, Adam, we've seen Oshweek Speedway tear tires off rims, tear shocks apart, tear rear ends out, shake the shit out of cars. We didn't have any of that. So, that's one thing we're real happy about. I thought the track prep, we can dive into that. Obviously, a lot of factors play into that, but I'd like to break down a bit later too. But off the top, zero dust. Like, everybody in Daytona was calling up here and saying, what did they put on the track to get zero dust? Like, I mean, it's almost like the racing gods blessed Osh Weekend on that night, because there wasn't 1 ounce of dust anywhere. Like, even on the TSN broadcast, there's not even one little kick up of fluff of nothing anywhere. It was amazing. Zigger, Glenn, Chantel was on track. Everybody's out there doing an amazing job. The cloud cover came in, helped out. But man, Adam, the track was like glass, and you got to call the TSN broadcast. I thought the bumper cams really showed off how good the track really was, and we're getting some images out here, but man, we asked for the high shine, we got it. So did we expect it to be that way? Yes. This is why we had sprint cars on, to polish this track wide and smooth to make sure it wouldn't tear up cars, and that's what we got. What do you think of this action, Adam?
I thought it was fantastic. Like you, so a couple of disclaimers. I was very leery of the product over the last couple of years. I've been leery. You know, sometimes when you get so much build up to something, I'm like, man, can it live up to the delay, the hype that's been built up? Watching the drivers, how challenging it was for them to control their race cars, how easy it was for them to spin out. One of the key factors to me was Chris Wright and the way he called the race, letting spins be spins and letting the drivers work around it and not bunching the field up for every little issue. I mean, there was a lot of little things that went into making it a good race. I've always contended, Clinton, people remember the finish. They remember the finish. When my kid, who watched the race from the pits, when he says it was insane, the noise from the grandstands, he's not one to blow stuff like that up. You know what I mean? You can't fake that. I thought the same thing, that the energy in the grandstands was fantastic. The drama was great. I'm so glad, like, we had such a gracious second place finisher, but even he was perturbed that he didn't win. Like, I just thought everything about it added up to a great show, great stories. And really, to look back, Clinton, we had an A-list NASCAR driver supposed to be in attendance, was not in attendance. And you might not like that I bring this up. I only had 2 people complain to me about it. I talked to a lot of people. It was almost like whatever. It wasn't even necessary for the show that went on. It would have been great. But you know what I mean? Like, I can remember times that if a major build star didn't show up to an event, that's all people would talk about, and it just became a sidebar.
Yeah, that was a lot of point of my stress, just making sure these guys got here. One made it, one didn't. And, after that, that's when I could kind of relax a bit and start getting into the event, which is crazy. But we have our winner, and I do want to talk about a lot of those things you just mentioned too, Adam. Go ahead there. You got something else?
Before we go into it, and Alvars, I'm not picking on you, but you're the person who brought it up in the chat. The people who thought the event didn't live up to the hype are the people we're no longer marketing to. I mean that with no disrespect. That's me also, right? I'm with you. I'm old school. I'm crotchety. I'm cynical. I don't like anything that wasn't 1985 at Cayuga or Oswego or Rolling Wheels Speed Raceway, right? And that's so the comment to say it didn't live up to the hype, the people who were there are going to come back. And that's how we're going to know. So all the anecdotal opinions, and Albert, I respect your opinion. I'm so glad you chime in, but I'm actually glad that you did, because there are some old school race fans, old school racers, with comments that didn't enjoy it, and that's they're the choir. They're not the people that we need to bring into church. They're in the choir. They're already there. We need to bring in new fans, and this event did. This event brought in the only event that might have had more fans at an oval track for a NASCAR Pinty Series race might have been St. Eustache 1 or 2 years when Jacques Villeneuve was there, but otherwise it was the biggest oval crowd that the series has ever seen.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, Treyton, we're getting to you in a second here, buddy. The one thing I want to mention, and I've been talking in my follow-up interviews, is, if we took the sprint cars to CTMP, there wouldn't be even as fast as the CTCC cars are there. There's just no way. They're not made for it. It's not what it is, and that's not what it's about. It was a spectacle of bringing these cars in. So we're super happy with the product. Would a tackier track have messed things up or changed the race? It might have, but I also think it would have tore up cars. We would have had windshield and visibility issues. We would have had overheating issues. I think the track was perfect, and right from the get-go, this is why we put sprint cars on there. Let's bring on Treyton Lapcevich, the winner of the Pinty's 100. And Treyton, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here with us. And just before we get into Treyton, I want to talk a bit about Stewart there. I think one thing I spoke about in the NASCAR meeting today with, Doug Gonder and Sherry and everybody from down south in the follow-up meeting was Stewart Friesen is arguably Canada's best, most professional, prolific dirt track racer. If anything gave legitimacy to these guys, it was that they hung right with Stewart. He was a fourth place car at best all day long, and then he got up there and muscled around with Treyton. but I think the series looked great and everybody handled it excellent. And I would put it out there because I'm biased and say of all the NASCAR dirt races we've seen in the last 10 years, that was the best one of them all. Treyton, welcome to the program.
Thanks, guys.
Well, you got it done. Adam, take it away.
First off, congratulations, Treyton, on a hell of a show.
Thanks, Adam.
How focused were you on not putting Stuart Friesen off the end of the track, but making sure that you still beat him?
Yeah, I mean, like, the problem for me is now I know I'm still young. I still relatively have little experience, especially compared to Stuart Friesen, but I've already lost my fair share of races from the bump and run. So I feel like it's almost a little, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So, I tried to do it as clean as I could. And honestly, I keep watching the videos and you can't even really tell that my bump disrupts his car that much. So, I tried to, and he gets into me there a little too. So I think we both definitely used each other up a little. And I think we were even. And that's why I think Stuart was respected the move as well, just because we both had to get a little rough with each other, because that was really the only way you could pass. It was hard to make the bottom work, and that was pretty evident the whole night.
What type of post-race talk did you have with Stuart? I think as an outside guy, he did a great job. He didn't wreck your season. He put on a great show for the fans. He could have easily spun you out and you'd find yourself in a big hole here as we get into a couple more to go. So, you're still fighting for a championship. I thought everything went well. What kind of words did you guys have after the show was over?
It was just congratulations. We respected each other. It's cool racing against a guy like him, and I've kind of told everyone that it's not easy having a guy like Stuart Friesen on your heels for the end of a race like that as well. So I think it pushed me to be better as well, and I learned a lot from him.
And I thought it was a great move. That's why I say, Trey, like, to me, it wasn't dirty in the least. Dirty would have been sending him up over the banking to ensure that you won that race, and you didn't do that, to your credit. You've had some fun first-time opportunities in the last couple of years, whether it be GP3R or the streets of Toronto or a lot of first-time ovals. How did this compare to other events you've done for the first time on a level of how much skill did it take to be able to drive these cars?
It was tough. I mean, I've never raced on ice either, but I think if there's anything I could think to compare it to, that's kind of what it would be like. I mean, it took a lot of, it's the word I'm trying to think of, like, you couldn't overstep your driving at all. Like, I think we saw it, a couple guys went over the berm in the corner, over the banking, and it was just, if you entered a little too deep, you were going over, you're getting sideways, and if you got on the gas a little too hard, you're getting sideways as well. So I think in practice, a lot of us kind of found that edge. I know I went for a few spins myself, so that definitely helped a lot leading into the race, the fact that we did get quite a bit of practice. But no, it was tough. It definitely ranks up there with road racing for the first time. And, I'm really excited to do it in years to come. I think now that we've all got kind of, we got our rookie stripes off on dirt, I think even next year's show is going to be more exciting.
What changes would you like to see us make, Treyton, as we get into a bit of a multi-year deal here? Anything you would like to see differently from the driver's seat?
Honestly, I didn't really have complaints. I know I've seen some people talk about the stages. I didn't really mind the stages, honestly. I think I would have minded it more if the last stage was less laps, but the fact that it was 50 laps made it a little bit better. So no, I think the stages were good. The format of the race was all good. I heard you guys talking about the state of the track before I came on here, being tackier or slicker. And I think the track was perfect as well. I think, like you said, it hits the nail right on the head that if the track was tacky, we definitely would have had visibility issues. We would have had overheating issues. And I think that's something that we've seen with the truck series before too. So I think the track was perfect for the NASCAR series. And I think that's like really how it should be for us going forward as well.
I do tend to agree with Alvars in terms of the tire. I think the tire was a really challenging. It was already challenging enough to do what you guys were doing. I don't know if the compound exists, but I would love to see a tire that wears out. But I'd also love to see a tire that doesn't cost $1,400 a set or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that would. Now that you bring that up, that is true. I mean, our tires showed nowhere after 100 laps either. So I think if they brought us back on a softer tire, we might be able to be a little racier. I think anyone that tried to like pull a slide job move or anything aggressive like that, it just we had no grip at all. So you'd go right around. I think if we had a little more grip, it would probably add to the aggression as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, guys. I mean, we had talked a bit about it, and when we heard they were bringing the DeCoin mile track, I mean, Adam, from us guys who grew up around Super Dirt Week, I kind of knew what that meant. It was going to be hard, similar to what a modified, like a D500, you know. But I'm also of the thought that I would hate to have you guys come in, have to make all these changes and what, or at least preparation, what you think you have to do, and then have you have to buy up 2 or 3 sets of tires just to race on this dirt race. That was the beauty of it. You know, you already have to buy 1 set for practice and then another set for the race. So, you know, I think, you know, in a perfect world, it could be like the SOS situation where you just put those tires away and bring them back. But obviously they could be doctored with, and NASCAR would never let that go because everything has to come out of tire jail, as they call it. But I think, I think a softer tire may be the answer, but I wouldn't want to see it wear out to the point that it's changing the race. Just to talk quickly about the stages and why, a lot of people ask why we did it. I mean, you know, some of the NASCAR officials right after it said they wish we would go away and do just a 100-lap race. But I'm all fan for the stages, Treyton, and here's why. Because I think, you know, we have folks like you guys who are the regulars. You have guys like Mike Gowdy who rented in, and you have Dave Bailey and guys who aren't really gelled with this team to get one shot. We have Stuart Friesen come in to race with you guys. You know, if we put those races together and it's just a 100-lap race and these guys are finding themselves going down 2-3 laps, you're just going to park it and go home. Or a guy like Mike Gowdy's going to feel like he wasted his $15,000-$20,000 rental fee or whatever he paid to put that deal together, you know. So that was the thought process, because we didn't know what we were coming into. We didn't know if you guys were going to be able to handle it or need major changes. At least a guy like Friesen could have came in, made those changes, and started at the back and have 50 laps to try and make it to the front. So that was the thought process, but I thought it worked out very well. Having everybody finish on the lead lap gives even the guys at the back a feel-good moment. You know, they didn't end up 8 laps down, I think, which was a big thing too. Nobody got embarrassed, right? And that was the other thing we were all worried about. Was the series going to look bad? Treyton, I got a question for you. What were some of the, you know, thoughts you had going in that are different now after the fact? You know, what were you worried about before that you think now, wow, that wasn't an issue at all?
I think I was actually kind of worried about like how racy the track was going to be. Initially going in, and I don't really have any knowledge of Oswego at all, so I didn't really know where the sprint cars ended up running on a regular night, or the top was the preferred groove. So I kind of thought it was going to be like a bottom feeder race, because that's just like the races that I've seen on TV with the other NASCAR series, and I thought that was just how it was because of the lack of grip. But it ended up being the outside was the place to be. So I thought that was kind of cool. And the fact that you really could make the bottom work if you tried really, really hard. You had to hit your marks on the bottom for sure. And you kind of had to find the grip there. I think it was about 20 laps in when I was following Schrader and Friesen. I think I found it like the little cut down line out of turn 4. And that's kind of what I stuck with the whole race. So I think searching around a little, and then I think it was cool that there was different lines to play with.
That line paid dividends for you, Treyton, for sure. Have you noticed since that race on social media, like there were a lot of eyeballs? That might be the most watched Pinty Series race ever, partly because it was on a Tuesday night, but partly because there were a lot of Southerners paying attention. Did you find your social media blew up a little bit in the last week?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen there's posts and videos everywhere on YouTube. Twitter's huge. So I mean, it's been pretty cool, the traction that the Pinty Series has gotten, and even that, like you said, a lot of Southerners got their eyes on the series, and I think a lot of people are realizing what the Pinty Series has to bring to the table. I know Matt Weaver's following on Twitter is pretty good, and he's a big advocate for the Pinty Series. So I think a lot of people are realizing how exciting the Pinty Series is, and I think about every finish this year has been exciting. So the Pinty Series is definitely gaining a lot of traction. The car counts have been good too, so it definitely adds to it.
The other thing I wanted to talk about the deal, with the tires being so hard and the track being so slick, when you got together, you bounce off each other, almost like I've been saying, almost like a county fair. They're not dug in, you're not tearing each other up, so you have that aspect going of it. But when you look at where you guys come out of it, the Pinty series looks so good on this because you've shown how you can handle all these different series. And I think the big thing about this race, it wasn't a season changer for some people. Like, a lot of guys were worried it would change their season or ruin their season. And what I thought, Adam, is you and I called all these races, but it almost played out like every other race. Cameron comes out, dominates the first half of the race. This we've seen this how many times? And the same guys, if you wrote the finish order down at the end, it would be almost what we could have written out prior to the race. So it didn't ruin anybody's season. It didn't, it turned out to be a non-issue, I think, was the dirt in that regard. Treyton, my question for you before we let you go, because we got Jake Sheridan coming in. What were some of the comments you might have heard from your buddies or your crew about the dirt sprint car end of things that they may not have seen when they got to see the Ushweek and home guys go at it?
We all watched the sprint car nationals in the stands there, and I think everyone was amazed with just the speed of them, and of course all of our eyes were kind of on Friesen that night. So to watch him make a charge for the win there was cool. I think sprint car racing is definitely super interesting. I got to test the crate sprint car a few weeks ago, so I'm kind of eager to race one now, and especially after watching them, I'm even more eager now. So I think everyone was surprised, and I think everyone's going to kind of be making the extra trips to Oswego Speedway in years to come.
Well, that's the goal, Treyton. We want stock car fans to come to Oswego. We also want a bunch of Oswego fans to go down to Delaware Speedway in September to watch the year-end deal. That's sort of the obvious, the wish. There's still going to be people. There's still going to be people that are one way or the other. Even the freaking Morneau family was at Ushweekend. Taking pictures of their potato chips, which is what they think dirt is for, is growing the potatoes. But screw you, Morneaus. You were at Ushweekend anyhow, so joke's on you. But I think it is a pretty cool thing, and we'd love to see you come out to the Big O. Do you have any title hopes left for this year, Treyton? Is it still in your sights, or do you just want to go out and win 3 more times?
See, it's been really back and forth this season. It seems like every time we make a gain in one direction, we always have a fallback. So, the West Coast swing dug us a really, really big hole. We only had one good run there, and the other 2 were about DNFs. So, our title hopes aren't looking too great, but I think we've seen in the Pinty series that really anything can happen. And with the bigger car counts now, I think there's a lot more emphasis on being consistent. I made a lot of ground at Oswego, and then it came out that Cameron's penalty got reversed and Tag's penalty got reversed. So that put me another 12 back from where I was. So I don't know. I don't think our title hopes are looking too great, but I also don't think that our chances of winning are impossible yet, per se. So I'm kind of just gunning for wins, and that's what I went into Oswego thinking too. I kind of thought going into Oswego that our points outlook was diminished already. So I think we're going for wins and some more good finishes to end out the season.
Last question for you: can you get it done at iCar this weekend?
I think we got a shot. We ran good there last year till we had some problems. So I think we'll be fast, and if the cards play our way, we might be able to grab another one.
Right on. Excuse me. Right on, Treyton. Good luck in Mirabel this weekend, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Treyton.
I
almost stars of the Canadian scene, Adam.
I wanted to ask him about the penalties, because I'm all for an appeals process, Clinton. I think it's necessary. And I was very skeptical about the penalty given to Tagliani, because it's very hard to make that kind of judgment call and penalize points when you're not inside the car. But an illegal muffler is an illegal muffler. I don't understand how that gets appealed and overturned. That can you imagine something happening in your tech barn that gets appealed later on and overturned. Like the rule book, I thought was pretty black, and I have no idea what the issue was with their muffler. I just know that most rules are very clear, black and white in the book. It's either right or it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know this situation very intimately. You know, I wonder if Jake's got an opinion on it. He probably knows.
Maybe
Maybe he could get
we'll
us out of
ask
the
him.
hot water here. Uh, let's bring Jake Sheridan on, fill-in driver of the 64. Jake,
Yeah,
welcome to the
fill in
program, man.
Hey guys, yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
fill-in driver extraordinary. Now wait just 1 second. You're wearing a Ray Morneau shirt. Weren't you guys feuding last summer?
Oh no, I don't think we ever really feuded much.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some rivalry between Jake and Ray.
No,
Oh, see.
we've raced together since we were in Legend Cars in Grand Bend Speedway. I was like 11, and we raced there a long time. We've always been competing at Delaware for late model championships. It seems like the last couple of years, and there were some funny now misfortunate times that happened back then a little bit, but wasn't anything to hold a grudge about.
Right on.
Jake, let's talk about the last week. Tell us how the situation ended up from your side of things.
Yeah, what a week, really. Like, kind of between the beginning of the week and the week was pretty crazy for us. I mean, we raced Sunset, didn't have a great race Saturday, but great effort for the whole team. We made huge gains all day long. So just a typical Sheridan Brothers comeback, really. Saturday, and went to Schwiegen Sunday night just to watch Nikki. I was just excited to watch the 360 show and maybe get lucky to meet Stuart Friesen and see Kenny Schrader again. Like, I thought that would be a lot of fun. And I was about 45 minutes before practice, we found out, was come and talk to Clinton and heard about this gap here, this void in the car, and it all kind of came together pretty quick. But about 45 minutes, we had a porta power in there, and it was really, really big. Everything there was big for Christopher Bell was a little big. They stretched her up, and then all of a sudden we had to stretch her back out again for me. So it was just cool. It all kind of goes so fast. I think that's what makes it kind of cool is you don't get time to think about it. It's just kind of surreal and just hop in and drive. So it was pretty cool. Monday night was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. Had to learn fast, and I think our whole team demonstrated that quite well. So opportunity of a lifetime, no doubt about it. But just cool to be a part of.
Jake, you and your brother, a couple of young talents, like you say, you've been racing forever. The fact that it was short notice, did that help with the fact that you didn't have any time to deal with nerves or butterflies, or does that not affect you much anyhow?
On the nerve side, I don't think nothing you can do, right? You're just going to do the best you can anyway. That's my philosophy. Do you think I'm an overthinker though, so I have to word it like that. I'm an overthinker. I would have stayed up until 4:00 in the morning watching ARCA races on dirt if I knew I was doing that the day before. So I think it was it was kind of cool. Just you had no choice but to get in and just do it. So I had to watch and learn fast. I actually learned a lot on Monday night following like both those big guys, Stuart Friesen and Schrader, and actually Ranger actually has some dirt experience, and he's just absolute wheel man. Probably one of the best race car drivers in Canada. Period. Doesn't matter what car it is. So I learned a lot from him. They were quick on the board right away on Monday, and we got up there. We got real fast at the end of the night, but they were quick on the board right away, and that's where we kind of learned. I think that racing line, where we all kind of come off the edge of the corner on the bottom, and just kind of put those in the notes. Well, my spotter Dustin Monmarquette was really, really good at that. I would maybe make a note of things like a little highlight on the practice session, just be like, hey, I'm gonna remember that, but just keep an eye on that. Keep knowing that how Ranger just passes on the bottom. Like, keep an eye on how that happened, and keep an eye on how we did this, and so all those little notes we took turned out to pay dividends for the race on Tuesday. So just had a lot of really great experienced guys around me too to help me through it. Obviously the whole Dilly team, all the crew there, all those guys are basically full-time Pinty's guys for Dilly's. They've been around once or twice and seen the whole thing, and obviously the overlook of David White on the whole week helped a lot. So great company to be in, so couldn't ask for any better of an opportunity.
Jake, how jazzed were they to get you in the seat? Were they accommodating and excited to have you in there once it all came about?
Yeah, for sure. I think we were all excited. I was really excited because I was I had a little bit of a setup because I was supposed to race that car at Chaudier early in the spring, so we were kind of getting ready for that anyways. I kind of actually had the foam I had in the car to race that race. I still had in my bag, so it went together really quick as far as that goes. And everyone was really great, really helpful. I knew distantly, but I knew most of the people there, so they were all welcoming, and everyone just worked really hard last minute to welcome me, and I really appreciate that.
Jake, is this something? What is your career path? You know, you do a great job in the APC series, and there's people that race in the APC series for a long time and never go anywhere else. There's people who have other aspirations. Where's your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like when I think of racing and coming from Ontario and racing and kind of having a full-time job, I mean, I don't think of it's not easy to just pack up and find a $1 million plus sponsor and head to the States and go racing full time. That's not something I wouldn't want to do. It's obviously every racer kid's dream come true. It's not something I'm setting my hopes for and relying on. But I mean, we all got full time jobs for now. I enjoy my job I have now, and it APC series, like my last couple of years, I just thought, why do you need to go any further? Like these guys are some of the best, in my opinion, race car drivers in Canada and the province already. Like you see guys like Brandon Watson, Fitzpatrick, and all these guys that kind of come down, like Lapcevich, and all these guys that do well in all kinds of series. Like there's guys in there. Like I was talking the other day, like some of these guys we race against. Like just for example, someone like Gord Shepard. Gord Shepard probably has more late model championships in years I've been alive, and I race against them all the time in APC Delaware. I mean, it just goes to show how tough that series is to begin with. Like it's more of a self pride thing to race with those guys. It's not easy. Those guys are very, very good, and the cars are very close. So that's all been cool. But I kind of got my eyes open a little bit this weekend in the Pinty stuff. I thought that was pretty amazing. Dude, that being a part of that series and that show. It is a show, really. All the guys put on the series itself was on a great show, and it was a great weekend to be a part of. And I learned. Obviously we know some of the big names in there, but racing against all those guys, you learn just how good those guys are too. So. I would love to put together a Pinty's deal. And I think that's about a dream for just an Ontario boy as well. So I don't know. I don't really think about that stuff too much. I'm not racing's pretty cutthroat industry, really. If that's how you're going to live your life, you're relying on going to the top and racing. It's unless you got obviously bags of money would help back that up through the high and low times, but. We just do what we can, and every weekend there's a great racing going on every weekend on Ontario. There's some of these promoters and series doing a great job with some of these big races coming up. I even look at like this Delaware 70th anniversary race coming up, and some of the Pinty's races and the APC race coming up. It's just they're all huge events, so can't help but want to be a part of those just in the present. So we just look to next week and take the path of least resistance.
Let's look to this week. Coming back to the beach at Sauble, APC event. You grabbed your win there last year. You grabbed a win at Delaware last Friday, by the way, as well. So your confidence sack is pretty full right now, rolling up north. How are you feeling about Saturday?
I'm excited. I don't think it's a secret that I do really enjoy that speedway. I enjoy that racetrack. It promotes a lot of great, hard door banging racing. Really, like. Especially going into 3, there's always someone going into 3 or something like that there. So we struggled there in the spring race there. I think we made a big change as far as race cars and stuff go for this year. So So we're making appropriate changes. Hopefully doing the right thing. And I'm excited. I enjoy that track. Winner 5th or top 10 doesn't matter. It's still a fun race for me. So looking forward to it. We got all of our masterminds here on our Pro Late model. See if we can make it a little better in the spring race there.
I want to go back to the dirt real quick, Jake, because I was talking to some people on the weekend. One of them was a spotter at Ashweekend, saying how difficult it was to spot that race, how challenging it was to clear your driver. Did you find that behind the wheel? Like, with you and Dustin, did you get into a groove pretty quickly? Because they said, how do you clear someone when they're 4 wide to begin with?
Well, hearing you're the top of 5 is something I've never experienced in my life. And that was interesting for me. I think the hardest part of that is just like, we never, like in a sprint car, you just kind of you're throwing slide dials and cutting guys off, and then the excuse is always, "Oh, I didn't know he was there," or I didn't know there was more than one person there. It's easy to do that, but when it's like, man, I don't know how much room I do need to give these guys 5 wide. Oh my God, how much room does 5 cars take? I've experienced 2 wide, 3 wide before, but 5 cars, it's funny because as slow as it sounds terrible to say, it wasn't a fast-paced race. For a slower-paced race, it made it extremely technical. Like when everyone's going that slow, it's not there's not a big gap in speed, right? It's everyone's going remotely the same speed, so making a pass is very difficult and very valuable. So Dustin was amazing for calling top of 3. You're on the bottom with 3 car widths between you. Like he was quick on that stuff, and that was really helpful. Just for I was gonna say at the beginning of the race, there was still some moisture on the very bottom, some moisture on the very top. By about lap 40, those 3,000-pound cars had managed to clean all the grip off. So it didn't make too much of a difference there, but it was, I imagine it was difficult to watch, but I had a great spotter doing that for me on my end, so it made life a lot easier.
Jake, for us as promoters, how could we have made the race better from the cockpit for you guys, the drivers?
Oh, that's a tough one. I was blown away. I was amazed and proud and welcomed to the series, and I've never really been a part of a deal like that, and I was very, very impressed with how everything went down. I thought NASCAR did a very good job in their execution, and Australian Speedway, the pits and all that, how professional that the meeting was, and the TV being up there and all the announcements. I thought that was amazing how professional that was, and it was organized and all the parking. I experienced it on both sides, the NASCAR side, and Nikki had the sprint car there, so I got to experience both sides of the pits. And everybody was great and welcoming and communicative and talkative. I mean, how can you, when you see a fireworks show like that in the night, how can you even complain about anything else? Anyways, all your bad memories go out the window. So I think like Australian Speedway's you guys got something figured out there, man. Your weekly show shows it. The amount of car counts you have, and having B mains, there it is. Having B mains on a weekly night on a frequent basis is something that racing in Ontario hasn't seen in too long. So I think that goes without saying how well the job you guys are doing. And I think all the fans and support there really, really showed that.
Yeah, it was a well attended. Could you was there ever a time, even on the pace laps, can you feel the crowd? Do you notice when there's a good crowd? And you race at Delaware, which is a place that often gets big crowds as well. Well, for that matter, the Sunset APC race, that was a jam-packed event. But do you notice that when you're in the car, either under yellow or pre-race, that you're performing for a pretty big audience some nights?
And that's another thing APC does well, in my opinion. Like including the fans is a big thing. So including the fans in those out-of-car intros, I think, does a lot for the series and for the promoters and the sponsors and the races themselves. So when you do something like that before the race, it's just like going to a hockey game. If you're playing hockey and you're for a local junior C team or something like that, and you got 60 of your best buddies, hammered in the grandstands or something, and watch and cheering for you and yelling your name. I mean, that doesn't help but get you all pumped up, right? That's pretty exciting. I'm thankful to get to experience that at Delaware in the APC race. We had quite the crowd there. It was a lot of fun. So I wish that ended up better for everyone that was there, but it's pretty cool. Like speaking, that was something I really wanted to mention tonight was the flashlight thing, like a rock concert, and we were coming around for the waving the crowd. That was amazing. That really, really showed how many people were there. Like it was as bright as the track lights in the race car. That was a moment that was pretty cool, pretty special to see how excited everybody was.
Yeah, I thought things were awesome. It was a heck of a moment there, and there's a good view of it. What a great job!
And that's just the back straightaway.
Yeah,
that's
it was
the
really
small
cool.
stands.
Yeah.
They need to practice. They do need to practice the 4 wide a little bit, and maintaining it around the track. But they're NASCAR Pinty's racers, and 4 wide is not something that they do. So it was neat to see. But we were so proud of you, Jake, to watch you get that ride and to watch you succeed. And you rubbed and raced with one of the toughest racers in the series. Like when you rub Cameron, he hits you back 3 times harder, and you were right in there, and you got the better end of it and stood on the podium. So congratulations.
Man, I appreciate that a lot. And it's a tough spot being somebody that's not supposed to be anybody coming into a series like that and racing in the top 5. Like you get pushed around, and some of the stuff the TV doesn't pick up. But I made sure I got hit first before we did anything like that in return. But that was it was pretty cool to experience. I don't know. I'm looking out for just an adrenaline rush, right? That's what you do it for. That's what gets you kind of pumping. And even though we're probably doing 50 mile an hour, when you go in the corner 5 mile an hour faster than you're supposed to, it still makes you stand up on your toes a little bit. So it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the dirt. I haven't been on there in a long time, and man, it's sure, like, obviously in the Pinty series, or the series that competitive, there's cars that are really good, and there's obviously some cars that don't have the setup quite right that day. And when you're in a series like that, I think the top 5 cars were awesome. I think the top 5 cars are really good, and that puts it in the driver's hands. You still have to have a good race car for a good driver to succeed. It's not, you can't take a jalopy and be the best race car driver and beat DJ Kennington and Andrew Ranger and Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 22 racing team this weekend. Like, that doesn't really happen. But with the top 5-10 cars that had good cars, really showed the good drivers. So hats off to everybody. It was cool. I was excited. I have not had enough of the dirt yet. I think there's some talkings going on. We're excited. We were talking about this actually before the Pinty's race, just trying to put it together. But we still got one of Nikki's crate sprint cars. It's actually here, motor and sprint car put together. I think we're going to try and come out in that thing before the year is over and just kind of refresh ourselves and give that a try. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
You got bit by the bug. I got a 2-part question, then we'll let you go, Jake. First off,
Sure.
How do you beat Jared Fitzpatrick? And secondly, let's help sell some tickets for the beach. Why should people follow us up to Sauble Beach this Saturday?
Well, it's just as I said before, it's an action-packed racetrack. It's not big. I missed the first part of the question a little bit there. I heard Fitzpatrick, but it was cutting out a little bit. But he's obviously going to be good. He's raced for a championship, so I'm thinking he's going to be a little bit more defensive and a little bit more protective of his points lead this time around, I would imagine. But he's going to be good. And that racetrack, man, you can run 2 wide there for 5-6 laps off the green if you're good. Like, those top 3 rows are going to be side by side for 5-6 laps, trying to get single file and side bang at that place. So you got to turn the middle of that place really hard, but it's hard to get drive off like the guy on the outside does. So there's never not been a good finish at Sauble Speedway. And if you want to see some short track racing, that is short track racing to a T. There's guys driving her in there in the corner way too hard and banging doors and sideways, and you can still. That place is a little bit about tire management still too. So you can see a guy come through the top 5 with 10, 15 to go if he has the right equipment. So if you follow the APC series around and know the excitement of the APC series, Sauble Speedway is no lack of excitement. That's for sure.
Good job.
Well said, Jake. Good talking to you, bud. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see plenty of you before the season's out.
For sure, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and hopefully talk to you after Sauble Speedway.
Right on. Jake Sheridan, 3rd in the Pinty's 100 and a contender here coming into Saturday's event. As we mentioned a few times here, coming up to Sauble Speedway this Saturday night. Make sure you get over there and check it out. Adam, what else do we want to talk about Oshweekend? I mean, things went super awesome at the event. I mean, the TSN crew made it look amazing as well. On TV, the place looked awesome. So we couldn't be more proud. You can probably catch it on TSN. It's been airing like every day this week, which is awesome.
How lucky are we? And we talk about this a little bit, Clinton, but you and I are going on 25 years together. If you'd have told us the first year we met at the Performance World Car Show, hey, when you're 50, you're going to be opening the show on TSN at Oshweekend, and Adam, you're going to be doing play-by-play for it. Yeah, go away. Get out of here. I mean, how cool is it that we've been able to work there for that long, and then when the big show comes to town, and some of the local officials are set to the side, or some of the local people that work the track are set to the side, that we still got to be a part of that show.
Amazing. You and I are very fortunate to be able to do what we've done. Super proud that we, had a bit of a hand in bringing Oshweekend to the national stage. We did it with our MAV TV Canada deal, and now here with this and the streaming stuff. Super proud of all stuff. But, we can't get sentimental. People hate it when we get mushy. They want us to be mad at each other. You know how many people came out to me last week and said, I love when you guys fight.
Oh,
here's a new segment.
Fight with you again. I can fight with you again because that race is over. And no matter how stressed out you are over anything for the rest of the year, go screw yourself. Because
we could always fight. You could always pick on me. You always did, anyways, just behind closed doors. Um, but here's a new segment. You guys send in some topics that you think Adam and I would be good to fight about, and if we're on opposite sides of a fight, we're not going to fake it though. We and it's not hard to find us on opposite sides. I was talking about our relationship on Cam's podcast, Stickers and Scuffs,
I thought you said
and
on the
saying how
can.
yeah, I talk about you on the can too because you're full of shit. Also, um, talking about how if it wasn't for racing, you and I probably would never be friends. You know, we spend our lives in different ways, and you spend your social time totally different than I do. You're relaxed. I'm strung super high, and it's just the way it works. But no,
It's fun to get to hang out, but like you say, we're very, very different, right? That's
back to business. Cross pollination, Adam. I think there was so much of that, and I think that really showed a lot of the Pinty's folks and asphalt fans. That's another byproduct of what we have here. We know there were a ton of new fans to dirt. The sprint car teams did not let us down, put on amazing racing. And, you know, there's people going to say the track needs to be tackier, but as long as I'm manager, I will take that every bit. Every bit. You know what I mean? The track is flat, smooth. Yes, it's a bit slower, but it doesn't tear up cars. It's technical. The best rise to the top when that happens. So I think that's it was a great deal all around. When you look at Polycool Giovanni coming in, good deal for Kevin Lovey's, comes good homecoming for him, wins up both nights, $15,000. Good deal for those guys.
and you need that measuring stick. Corey Turner, Ryan Turner, Aaron, the whole cast, Liam Martin, they need Paulie Colagiovanni. They need the outsiders to come in and race so that they know that they're good enough. So that the fans know that we're as good as anybody else. Paulie got the best of our drivers last week. Hats off, did a great job. Kevin Lovey's put a great setup in the car. Paulie drove the wheels off it. Good for them. But that's what you need is for those people to come in. Because they're going to come in at times and someone is going to get the best of them, right? And our locals will do it. That's how the Pennsylvania Posse became as big as it was. That's how Knoxville regulars got even more famous than they were because the outsiders would come in, the best of the best, and they could still compete with them.
Ryan Turner would not have won the 16th running of the Canadian Sprint National July 1st if those guys didn't come to town for the last 10 years. It just would not have happened. You know, they've got their game out there by competing with these guys. John Watson says, here's one. Starting a non-wing midget division last weekend with the goal of making a touring series like the Crate Sprint Cars. Great idea. Maybe 10 years ago before we had the Crate Sprints, but I don't think we need another division.
I'm with them 110%. I will get behind it completely if it only races from the end of October until the start of April. In the covered racetrack at Oshwegan Speedway. Once we cover the micro sprint track at the back, and we can race all winter long, I will buy a midget. I'll have one in the field. I'm totally 100% for it. Once the season starts, maybe have 2 races a year for them in the summertime. The rest is all winter races.
6 years ago, when Holly Porter, Aaron Turkey, Mac DeMann, Corey Turner, Glenn Stiers, everybody was getting into it, okay? It might have made sense because they all rented them. They all had them. I'm talking about the winter thing. You're absolutely right, because if we could cover that track, it could be awesome, because then I could see us having, you know what else good to pick up then? Mod Lights. You'd see Mod Lights pick up. You'd see micros. You'd see guys like Pete Bicknell buying a Mod Light, and you'd have your go-kart class, a micro sprint class, a Mod Light, and a midget class.
The legends,
indoors.
The Great Lakes Legends. You could have a full year-round program.
That's a Mod Light, you know. But
it's not a legend is not a Mod Light. The Great Lakes series that a Legends car is built out of one factory. Don't say what's the difference between a Legends car and a Mod Light. You're thinking of dwarf cars, which morphed into Mod Lights.
Okay, so hold on. What's the difference between a dwarf car and a Legend car?
They like to be called little people cars.
Seriously though,
quick. So they just bought a car that's basically for celebrities.
Don't make me look dumb. I'm asking a genuine question because as someone who should know, I genuinely don't know the difference between a Legend, A Mod Light, okay, obviously bodies are different, but if you strip the bodies off, what's the difference between a Mod Light, a Legend car, and a Dwarf car?
A Legend historically was built out of 600 racing. Humpy Wheeler started the Legend
Get
series.
that along with the Bandoleros and that too.
They were always a production built car. A Mod Light
Okay.
was not. Mod Lights, all sorts of different people built them, just like Dwarf cars, all sorts of different people.
But is this not like Jacuzzi and Hot Tub? Like a hot tub is a hot tub, but Jacuzzi is a brand. So would a Mod Light not be built off the same model and measurements and everything of a 600 Legends car?
That's like saying is a sprint car like a modified. Well, yeah, they're race cars, and if you strip the body off a modified, it looks kind of like a sprint car.
No,
but
I'm honestly not trying to be a smartass.
No,
I'm just saying, is a Mod Light a generic version of a Legend car? Okay, back it up. Take the Mod Light out. What's the difference between a Dwarf car and a Legend car?
A Dwarf car and a Legend car were almost the same, but people didn't want to buy the factory-built Legend car at a 600 racing. They wanted to be able to fabricate their own. And most Dwarf cars were much, much uglier than a Legend car because people didn't have the fabrication skills. But I'm not joking at all. Like, I am not joking about having a winter class. Like, I totally think.
No, I'm not either. I mean, that's been a fantasy of mine at Osh Weekend, and our go-kart track would be a badass indoor winter track, you know. But then we're going to start paving all the pits because we need. Oh man,
they already are.
I mean covering the pits because we need heat over everybody.
Yeah,
we'd end up with the Sky Dome there.
You know what? People would rough it. Oliver's, I guess, is right. Legends cars are to Dwarfs what hobby cars are to jalopies, and that's probably fair.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
I did my best. Listen,
Legend cars are to jalopies, what hobbies? Legends are to Dwarfs, what hobbies are to jalopies. Okay, but
a hobby car is a race car. A hobby car is a race car. A jalopy was an old hacked together race car.
So a Legend is a real race car, and a Dwarf is a hacked together race car.
I don't want to disrespect. Well, I don't care if I disrespect the Dwarf cars because they're pretty much extinct. But I do want to say that I raced a go-kart Friday night down at Route 1 Raceway. Pete Gutler owned the carts. I broke the seat right in half. Like, it was a tall seat, and the top half was gone.
Why would you tell anybody that? You already get beat up for everything.
It doesn't matter. Blew an engine, but I blame Sean Gibbs, who had raced it 2 weeks before and flipped it. And this is what I love about racing. So I'd gone all the way down to Merlin, so basically to Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, which is very close to where Route 1 Raceway is. Go out and practice. The cart runs about 3 laps and quits. I'll push it back to the pits. Go out in the first heat. We changed carburetors, thought we were sorted out. Cart runs about 3 laps and quits. And this time you can hear like broken pieces as you're trying to turn it over. So our night's done. Right across the pits is a fella I had never met before in my life. Didn't know who I was. I don't know who he is. And he had raced that old guys class a couple weeks ago, but this time he had prepared a cart, I think, for his granddaughter. And he said, she's just not ready to race. If you want the engine off of that, throw it on. It's good to go. Just pull the restrictor out of it. And so sure enough, we start hacking away. I missed the second round of heats, but got out for the feature. I only got lapped once in the feature, but my God, that was a tiring race. 25 laps on the dirt, but what a great program they run down there. The Smolders family. I had a blast. I hope I get to go back this year.
How do we not have any video of you blowing up the motor and breaking the seat? This is like classic stuff. And do you see Twitch's comment? Did you wear 2 carts like roller skates?
The pictures do show me hanging off the back of this cart a long way. But no,
I gotta tell you though, I rented a cart at Nick Kuplow's place. Same type of deal, like backyard go-kart. We used to have fun. They'd have a whole bunch of guys up there. The one cart had a layback seat in it, and I was crying about 10 laps in. I thought my head was going to pull right off the back of my shoulders. Lean back with the helmet back and the weight. Oh, I could not wait for the race to get over. It was not comfortable at all.
But I felt right at home, man. Sat down in the seat, and it's like me in a go-kart's pretty awkward. My knees are up pretty high, but man, it felt good to be to go out there and play around. So that was a lot of fun. They do a great job on a Friday night, so I highly recommend check out Route 1 Raceway. It's good racing. Bumped into Adam West, Tyler Hendricks, Chris Cuvion, Wes Bertozzi. Like, they're just all sorts of people that you would know from any other Friday night at the races.
Season is starting to wind down here at Oshweek, and Instapanels brings us the Art Hill Memorial this weekend for mini stocks, plus the late model open, 360 sprints, and Thunderstocks. No crate sprints on the card at Oshweek this weekend. John Brush jumped in. Adam threw an extra $1,000 in, so it's $2,000 to win for the Art Hill Memorial now. John's just
42
loving it.
laps. Oh, John's awesome.
Laps.
Because Doug Erskine had asked
laps.
earlier if it was 42 or 50.
42, and then we will also be having the late model open. I know Greg Haskell and a lot of the guys down from the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, Chatham Way, are excited to be getting back in. And, it's crates versus the open motors. So it's basically the Brighton and Humberstone late model guys versus the Buxton guys and girls. But, Pitsy won it a couple years ago, so a crate can get it done. That's for sure. Excited about that. Excuse me. And then Oshweek and Adam, can you believe it? Only have 5 nights left. It's like the season we flipped the page and bam, it's going to be over before we know it. So
it's time to start putting the bug in Glenn's ears.
About
if we get going on construction, it could be ready for next winter.
I'm really hoping for a new VIP tower and announcing tower on the pits on the grandstand side for next year. So that's going to be the push. We'll try and get that done. Get you guys some good air conditioning and a cool broadcast box up there. But no, everything's been great. We'll be live both nights, Friday and Saturday. Friday from Oshweek and Saturday from the APC Series event at Sauble Speedway. If you're up that way, make sure you come up and check it out. I had some friends come up last time. They loved it. And there's not a bad seat in the house. The grandstands are awesome there. It was packed last time, so a great atmosphere. If you want to go and feel like you're at a happening spot, make sure you check it out. It was great.
Yep. It is a fantastic event. I've said time and time again, make sure you go up early, swing down to the beach. There's just something about cresting the hill, going into Sauble Beach, seeing the Welcome to Sauble Beach sign. It's just iconic. Like, to me, it's just a sign of the summer. It's fantastic.
Yep. And if you're talking to people, let them know you're in there for the racing, and let them know that we can be good for the economy, and racing brings in lots of people. So make sure you check it out. In closing, just want to remind everybody, Merrittville from last Saturday night is coming up next here live on the channel at 9 p.m. So we're excited to have that. Want to send a shout out to Jessica Lynn, one of the photographers there, got clipped by one of the sportsman cars on Saturday, is recovering and all right. We understand, so that is good. A scary moment, and all the best to her and everything else. But yeah, it's been a good show. Good way to just jump back in and bullshit for an hour. We're also from this weekend to Labor Day, so all kinds of stuff going on, Adam.
And thanks to our regular commenters, and I'm gonna leave someone out, but Jimmy, Alvers, Richard, you two, Half Pint, Fran. Without you guys chiming in, it really does help. Even when I agree or disagree, I mean, it's great to see those opinions. It's great to talk about different parts of racing, different parts of the community, because that's what we're here to do. So without your opinions, and of course you as well, Cam, and stickers and scuffs, and it's just fun to hang out with you guys on a Tuesday, and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, one last program. Go-karts and microsprints are still off at Oshweek this week. We come back the following Thursday. So just want to mention, if you're thinking on coming to go-karting or microsprints, they're off this Thursday. That'll do it for this version of Race Rivals. Thanks, Spencer, for all you do. Good being back with you, buddy. Good talking to you, Adam. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Merrittville Speedway is coming up from Saturday. We'll see you from the beach Saturday and live Friday from Oshweek. Talk to you soon.